So just back from our trip, fantastic again. I mean, this is our second trip with all things India, and just as amazing as last time, but completely different, and I think that's what we loved about it, or what I loved, being the one who did the second. So this time I was travelling with my sister, who's a similar age to me, obviously, and I suppose what works so well for us working with you guys is the fact that it is planned. So it's organised, but not in a structured, constrained kind of way. So we'd work together, Joji, with what we were interested in and how we would plan that beforehand. But then when you're there, the day happens and things can kind of come along that just add to the whole experience. But because it is planned, we know we've got fantastic accommodation, it always is. We know we've got a driver, so we know we've got guides at the key places, and we know we're going to use the time really effectively. I think that when you've just got a month, as we did, the last thing you want to be doing is spending half a day, at a railway station trying to get tickets or trying to do taxis and things. It's just too precious, and by having it organised, it felt like you were maximising the time that you had, which was a real plus. And for Rebecca and I mean, her husband had given her details of car accidents in India, so there was a little bit of, but in actual fact, the entire time it felt really safe because, it is, you've got everything organised ahead. You're not being stupid either. You're careful about wandering around random areas in the middle of the night kind of thing. So it's the same kind of precautions that you'd take travelling anywhere and at home. But by and large too, I think the people, and you know this, Andrew, people that you meet are just so friendly and so helpful and so kind and so interested. So there weren't any situations where you thought, this doesn't feel comfortable or right, or and if there was, you can just get yourself out of that in the same way as you would anywhere, really. I mean, it's just common sense stuff. But the having a driver, I think, does make a big difference. I mean, I've loved that because it also means you get to choose where you go, so you're not on those kind of structured tourist routes. You can actually go and you can stop. And so I mean, we had a lovely experience in Assam. In fact, no, it was in Meghalaya when we were coming back from Shillong, and there was a festival happening in this town, and we just saw these children heading off to this ground, and then people in costume and that. And so with the guide, you can just stop, you can go and we met the head village man who wanted us to stay, and there were all these other people coming and women doing beautiful craft work, and you can just do that sort of thing when you're got your driver and the time to do it. And the guide, it all adds to the cost of the trip in there, but actually I wouldn't do it differently, because having the guide means he or she can facilitate those conversations and make things happen that otherwise you just wouldn't experience. So it really added a massive amount of value to the trip. And again, this time as last time, the guides that we had, especially those ones for longer periods, were just lovely to be around and really interesting. And when you're in the car, you can just be asking about everything that's happening around you and what you're seeing and that. So if you're on a train or a bus and stuff, you're not going to get that extra information or understanding. And I think the drivers, and this was the same in the south, and every morning you get in, it would be beautifully clean. I don't know how they do it when there's no water half the time. But it was clean and fresh and good to go. I mean,
and they're professional, the driver, the guides.
Incredibly professional. And I do recall you saying to me when we were going on the first trip, tell the drivers no overtaking.
Yes.
It's like, really, Joji? The first time you get in the car, you think, well, that ain't going to work. Because in fact, while there's this, driving that's completely different to how we drive in New Zealand, I didn't feel unsafe at any point, because the drivers are skilled, and the whole way people drive there, is this give and take of, if someone's coming at them, then they just pull back a bit to let them fall
Yes,
in,
they do.
and it works because there's all that accommodating, which wouldn't happen in New Zealand. But so no, the drivers were really professional. I take my hats off to them because
they're very skilled.
incredibly skilled, and
So
And
Philippa,
times too.
yeah. Philippa, you started the journey in Delhi then, and from Delhi you went to Agra and Chambal. Explain your experience in Chambal.
So Chambal was a high point. Everything's a high point there. But like going and seeing the Taj, because I was a little bit like, oh yeah, everyone sees it. But actually it was beautiful and everything and more than people say. So I was really pleased we saw it. I was also really pleased we didn't stay in Agra, because it's a busy touristy sort of town. So you're driving out to Chambal and you're in a little piece of paradise, and again with beautiful hosts, and where you're learning a lot about their views and what's happening in their area, and so the accommodation was lovely, and then we did a fantastic river safari, and you're seeing crocodiles and gharials and amazing wildlife, and we did a fantastic trip to another town with beautiful temples, and so it was 3 days we had, and it was brilliant, but very relaxing as well as kind of lots of experience with that. It was great. Well, there's all these riverside temples, beautiful white gorgeous temples, and quite an amazing village with lots of pilgrims coming there really. And also then we met one of the holy men who lived in a cave there, and sort of were talking to him, and again this is where a guide makes all the difference, because we wouldn't have gone and met this man otherwise, and he facilitated the whole conversation and stuff, and it was brilliant. And then we also went to another town near there, which reminded me a little bit of down south, Chitanadu, these massive houses that
mansions.
actually, mansions, but most of the people have left, and so they're quite sort of run down and that.
And one of those such properties are being renovated currently.
Yeah, which would be great.
And by next year, we can stay there. The rooms will be ready for us to stay.
Yeah.
So that's. And from Chambal, you went to Lucknow.
Yes, and we loved Lucknow. Well, we loved the hotel we stayed in for a start, which was a beautiful heritage hotel. Had a fantastic guide. The company that you used there, I think they were brilliant.
Oh, they're one of the best.
Yeah, and I mean all of the guides and stuff, but these guys were outstanding, and Ravi, the guy that we had for the 2 or 3 days there, couldn't have done more. And again, it was that lovely mix of the heritage and history, and then seeing Siwa and the women's collective and beautiful embroidery, and the culinary tour where the food was amazing, and it just kept coming, and we spread this over 2 nights. But no, Lucknow was great. It was a lovely city. And then we flew to the northeast.
Dibrugarh.
And we stayed, and this is where we had a guide sort of solidly with us for a couple of weeks, which was a real asset in that area because English isn't as spoken as widely. And we stayed first there on a tea plantation, and as I was saying earlier, it was like Rudyard Kipling or something more, or something. Feeling very special. And great experiences. We did a lovely a visit to a Buddhist village there, and again with the guide, we met some women walking down this little street in this village, and then they invited us into their home, and they're serving you tea and talking about the embroidery they do, and my sister ends up trying on this skirt kind of but again, you wouldn't have done it if you didn't have someone with you who speaks the language and could.
And they did that out of their own, sort of hospitality and spontaneous.
And that happened all the time. It happened there, but it happened in other parts of Assam as well, on the island in Majuli, and we were always.
And they were not expecting anything back.
No,
they were just sharing. Their culture with them.
The people are so friendly and so open, and it's amazing.
And from there, you went to Nagaland, did you?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think Nagaland was quite different to Assam and different feel with people and stuff. And amazing, because all of this northeast, it's all so tribal, and each area is so different, and even within that there's a whole lot of kind of differences in that. So Mon, which was lovely, and then we had a lovely trip to the border village,
Yes.
And just being able to wander around Mon and that too, though, I think. But Mon and Nagaland, I suppose it's always quite sobering, but no water really. There was a well adjacent to the place where we were staying, and people would be coming from the village to try and get water, and one morning there was just no water kind of thing.
Wow.
So it does make you.
And Headhunter, did you that to say?
And look amazing and stuff. And still, some of the older guys walking around in with the kind of traditional
gear.
And that.
But they're not headhunting.
No,
apparently not. Apparently the tattoos have some significance.
Right.
Yes, they do seem fairly for it, because it sounds like if they haven't killed people, it's animals that have all been knocked off.
Meghalaya was a highlight, I believe, because of your trekking and your walking around.
Yeah. So
what's your experience? I mean,
so we went to the very famous root bridges.
The root bridges, yeah.
And so we stayed at the resort at Cherrapunji, and again the hospitality there was lovely, and people were really lovely. And then you do this walk, which is 3,000 steps down.
Wow.
It's okay down. It's a little bit of a challenge coming back up, but the bridges, they are amazing, and again the people in the villages that you meet along the way, incredible. And these people that look down on these villages, just to get back up to work or to the market, and they've got to do this sort of stuff every day. That was incredible. It was quite misty that day, and that was quite beautiful because it's very forested, and it actually was probably more comfortable doing the walk in those kind of conditions too than in the heat. But and again hospitality. We had a beautiful meal just at a little house down in one of the villages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brilliant.
So the food, how was the food in Northeast?
Amazing. I mean, again, a lot of variety, and I suppose in India everyone takes such pride in the food and the specialty of this area and the specialty breads, and so as usual I thought we might lose a bit of weight when we left, and neither. Actually Rebecca lost a little bit, and I don't know why, because she was eating the same but no, the food was and a lot of local specialties too, and everyone wants to share that with you and tell you about it, and neither of us got sick at all, because that's the other thing I think people kind of worry about, food poisoning or whatever. I mean, we're always really careful about water and that, but in both the trips, none of our travelling people have got sick at all. So, and it's just so delicious. I've taken lots of photos, so you see the thali meals
and the accommodation. I know you explained about the Dibrugarh Tea Estate one. What about the others? Tripura?
I mean, it was quite varied again, which was what I love about the trips that we do with you, because you have the beautiful heritage hotels, and then you have homestays where you've got lovely connection with local people and stuff, but always to a great standard, like great bathrooms and all private, clean and lovely, but all quite different. So the Shambol that we were talking about, which is this lovely kind of rural kind of setting, to the homestay in Mons, beautiful homestay in Gauhati. We would have liked to have stayed there longer actually, because we walked and it was like, we've only got one night here. But yes, it's such a great way to meet people too, by having that mix of accommodation, and for me, I guess travelling, it's so important that it is, local operators as much as possible, and the money's going back into that community, and you actually see that going around, that a lot of the people operating the businesses are really committed to those communities, So it feels a lot more ethical, really, to be supporting that. Yeah.
And your safari experience in Kaziranga.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you know, elephants are my thing. So
yes, that's why you went to South India. So.
yeah, without quite the success. But at Kaziranga, we did the elephant safari, and we'd met some people actually in Dubriga, and I was like, "No, did it feel okay? You know, with elephants being exploited, kind of." And they said, "Oh no, they seem pretty happy, and the little baby elephants trundle along on these walks just behind." And actually, it did feel okay, you know. And they do say that the funding from this also helps support the national park and things. But you're riding on these elephants, and so the main thing in the park is the rhinos, of course. But you're on this elephant, and the rhinos are just
running around.
and you're up high, so you've got this beautiful vista over the grassland, and there's deer over here, and as I say, rhino here, and it's all, you know, it's like a perfect spot to be watching because the elephant's just, you know, cruising.
Yes.
So very unobtrusive in a way. So that was, definitely a high point. I mean, that park was amazing for the wildlife.
And finishing off your tour in Calcutta.
Yeah. So again, beautiful heritage hotel that we stayed in there, but Kolkata was an easy city. We used the metro to go and visit my sister's friends who lived there and to do a couple of other things, and that was easy. Nice shopping, lovely markets, very vibrant, you know, that typical city where everyone's out at night. And it felt really safe being out at night there. Just brilliant, really. The whole trip was amazing, and Kolkata was a really nice way to finish.
Finished off. Yeah. Okay. So thoroughly enjoyed in that.
Yeah, booking again next year, you know. It's very different and new, but yeah.